anticipate a lot of big fights. I got something in the works right now. I'll drive you fuckers crazy. All you guys will be running around. I got something in the works that you will never fucking see coming for 2025. That literally started to come together last night.
On Saturday, at the post-fight press conference in Tampa, Dana White alluded to the fact that he had something in the works, something big up his sleeve for 2025.
I have no issue with this fight for a few reasons. Number one, obviously, I don't think he's ready to be back in the UFC. I think he will get his ass kicked thoroughly.
Dana White has responded to the announcement of the bout between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul. According to Conor McGregor's social media account, he and Paul have decided to box together in India. Early on Tuesday, McGregor caused a stir on social media by denying speculations of a possible battle with Ilia Topuria, a Georgian-Spanish boxer. He then attracted attention by revealing his own plans. The 36-year-old tweeted on X on Tuesday that the reports of a fight with Tapua are untrue, hinting at his much-anticipated return to the octagon 3 years after his previous UFC outing. The Irishman hasn't competed since Dustin Poirier's back-to-back defeats in 2021, so there has long been speculation about his return to the octagon. I have tentative agreements with the Brani family to fight Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. Former lightweight contender Michael Chandler has stepped forward as a willing challenger for a comeback bout after McGregor's loss to Charles Ola at UFC 309, sparking speculation about his possible return to MMA and the UFC. McGregor remains one of MMA's top pay-per-view attractions and the first person to hold titles in 2 weight divisions simultaneously. Chandler had already called for a battle with McGregor. They had coached each other in Ultimate Fighter Season 31 last year, and their encounter in the octagon had long been anticipated. Many people may be surprised to learn that Paul is going to box for the 3rd time as he gets ready to take on McGregor. This comes after his well-publicized fight with Floyd Mayweather in 2017 and an exhibition match against Michael McGrain in Dublin 2 years later. In 2018, McGregor was accused of viciously raping and beating 35-year-old Nikita Hand at a Dublin hotel. When he appeared in court in his native Ireland in November, a jury found him guilty of mistreating Hand and directed him to pay damages of approximately €250,000. The former 2-weight UFC champion has vehemently denied the accusations and said on social media that he intends to appeal the ruling. He wrote on X. He said on the social media platform that he was found liable for assault and guilty of nothing, and that he will be pursuing all the defamatory writings about him that he finds in Paul, a fighter who has competed professionally twice.
What to do with UFC fight?
Man, who the hell are you gonna fight, bro?
Who do you want me to fight, Mike?
Maybe Conor or something like that. But it would have to be like right now, like straight off a binge.
He's actually hungover when he shows up.
Yes, Roadhouse movie promoting Conor. with Jabberjaw.
Great, man. G and Jake Gyllenhaal.
That might work. I don't know what was going on there.
Oh, you know what was going on, brother. You know what was going on.
Defeating fellow YouTuber turned boxer KSI in 2019 and defeating Dylan Dannies in 2023. The 29-year-old also faced 5'8" former world champion Mayweather, but they were drawn in an exhibition match. Conor McGregor would have to get permission from the UFC to face Jake Paul in the ring because he is still with 2 fights remaining on a contract. But with the UFC and WWE and deal could be negotiable within the parent firm TKO's umbrella. Paul's stint in the ring has been relatively short, characterized by high-profile fights rather than substantial experience, and McGregor hasn't competed since suffering a terrible leg break in the first round of his trilogy contest with Dustin Poirier more than 3 years ago. Later, Paul entered the ring for an unscored exhibition against boxing legend Floyd Mayweather. Most recently, he faced off against Dylan Dannies, a former teammate of Conor McGregor, but their bout descended into chaos last year when security intervened after Dannies attempted to tackle Paul in the ring. He first faced off against social media rival KSI, which resulted in a draw during their Manchester debut before losing in the Los Angeles rematch. Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury are preparing for their eagerly awaited rematch on December 21st, in which the British heavyweight hopes to make amends for his defeat to the Ukrainian champion. A victory for Fury could lead to a big fight with longtime rival Anthony Joshua in the upcoming year. Prior to Paul posting his statement, Fury's younger brother claimed that McGregor was trying to fight him but was reluctant to discuss a fight until the UFC got involved. Former lightweight contender Michael Chandler has stepped forward as a willing challenger for a comeback bout after McGregor's loss to Charles Ola at UFC 309, sparking speculation about his possible return to MMA and the UFC. McGregor remains one of MEM's top pay-per-view attractions and the first person to hold titles in two weight divisions simultaneously. UFC champion has vehemently denied the accusations and said on social media that he intends to appeal the ruling. He wrote on X. He said on the social media platform that he was found liable for assault and guilty of nothing, and that he will be pursuing all the defamatory writings about him that he finds in Paul, a fighter who has competed professionally twice.
Yep. These fighters are elite. They take this very seriously, and their definition of being in shape and ready to fight isn't bloating themselves up with muscles and looking good in the mirror. These brothers are ready to throw down. Yep. You Conor McGregor, and not only that, Michael Chandler has been calling him out forever. Desperately wants his hands on Conor McGregor because he knows that would be a big fight, obviously, and it's something that he wants, and that hasn't happened yet.
If I had a comment, I would have put it out already. Paul Jake chastised the Irishman harshly on social media. White has been adamant in his refusal to work with the Paul brothers. In a harsh statement made years ago, White told ESPN, "I'm not going to loan them a guy for what there's no way. You've got plenty of goofballs out there to play these games." White's approval would be needed if McGregor, who has 2 more fights left on his UFC contract, decided to fight outside the organization. After his altercation with Logan, the infamous is determined to get back to mixed martial arts, but I'm not your guy. As he continues his tumultuous return to fighting, which has involved injuries, legal troubles, and now a potential boxing exhibition, everyone is watching to see if this most recent chapter in the drama of combat sports can live up to the expectations.
We haven't seen Conor McGregor win a fight. I mean, he beat Donald Cerrone, Cowboy Cerrone. Cerrone looked like a deer in headlights, as I pointed out that night. Yeah. That's the only victory he's had in 7 years. Well, here's why I don't mind it, though, Shannon. I appreciate this fight because it's pure entertainment. Yeah. It's an exhibition. It isn't Jake Paul training with professional boxers, essentially being a professional boxer, but getting in the ring with non-boxers or geriatrics.
Conor McGregor appeared unconcerned when well-known ESPN pundit Stephen A. Smith expressed his opinions about the latest announcement of the boxing event. Smith contends on ESPN's First Take that McGregor is in no condition to return to the octagon, calling it a serious mistake for the Irish fighter despite his impending fight with Michael Chandler. A Smith stated that he didn't mind the McGregor versus Logan Paul bout for a number of reasons. He said that McGregor didn't seem prepared to rejoin the UFC, implying that he would probably lose badly. Smith added that Michael Chandler had been urging McGregor to engage in a big battle for a long time, highlighting Chandler's desire to do so, but that the bout had not yet taken place.
Conor McGregor is a UFC fighter. Well, then you quickly come to the realization that the parent company of WWE and UFC is TKO. So they're all under the same umbrella. Very easy to get done. That's a thing that I don't think would be a hurdle. It's not like trying to do Mayweather-McGregor. There were a ton of hurdles in trying to make that happen. Mayweather-McGregor was a thing that ended up happening, but it took a hell of a long time to get there, and the main stumbling block, if you will, was UFC and Showtime coming together. There isn't really any of that here. They're literally the same company, for all intents and purposes. On Saturday, at the post-fight press conference in Tampa, Dana White alluded to the fact that he had something in the works, something big up his sleeve for 2025. In case you missed it, here's what Dana White said.
I anticipate a lot of big fights. I got something in the works right now. I'll drive you fuckers crazy. All you guys will be running around. I got something in the works that you will never fucking see coming for 2025. That literally started to come together last night, and yeah, we got some fun stuff coming up.
Was Dana White alluding to that fight? No idea. I have not talked to Dana, believe it or not, as of this morning. Maybe we'll talk later today, but I do not know. This would certainly qualify as something kind of out of left field that people would get worked up over. And so that's where things stand. Oh, by the way, Logan Paul reacting on social media with this. Some eyes.
Stephen A. Smith also brought attention to Conor McGregor's recent difficulties in the ring, pointing out that he has only won once in his previous 5 fights. And that victory came against ESPN analyst Donald Cerrone, a Hall of Famer. The opinion that McGregor, a former UFC dual weight champion, is wise to fight Logan Paul Smith also expressed gratitude for the battle against Logan Paul, stressing that it was solely for entertainment purposes, and pointed out that Conor McGregor hadn't won many fights recently, with his victory over Donald Cerrone being his only triumph in 7 years.
McGregor is in agreement to box Logan Paul. McGregor stated in a social media post, "I am in preliminary agreements to fight Logan Paul in a boxing match in India, where headgear and weight of gloves is to be determined. The Notorious One has made more news out of the octagon since his last 2021 bout, and his relationship with Dana White is muddy. But if this boxing match happens, the odds have Logan Paul as a betting favorite. The social media star has been in the WWE for a few years now, so for him to beat a real MMA champion would be insanity. This would be the most watched boxing event in history, even bigger than Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. And if you're McGregor, why wouldn't you try and knock out Logan Paul for millions of dollars? Do you think people want to see McGregor win or get knocked out by a Paul?"
Jake the Younger, after learning of Conor McGregor's declaration, Paul brother claims that, despite their brotherly relationship, the UFC star desperately needs them to be relevant. Jake Paul had no idea that his brother Logan, also known as the Maverick, was going to compete against Conor McGregor. Interview 5. Jake did, however, disclose that McGregor's camp approached his company with a fight offer, but El Gala would only accept if Dana White approved his star. Jake, who publicly calls McGregor washed up, contends that fighting his older brother concurrently is the only way for the Irish fighter to remain relevant. Fans are excited to witness how the former UFC champion performs in this next boxing match after Logan Paul commented on Conor McGregor's announcement, giving legitimacy to his claims. However, he has not spoken out on the subject as of yet. Showdown rumors of a potential boxing exhibition versus Logan Paul in India have been sparked by Conor McGregor's latest social media post. McGregor dismissed rumors of a UFC bout with featherweight champion Ilia Tapua and disclosed that he is in preliminary talks with the Amani family to organize the event. Before making a comeback to mixed martial arts, McGregor has 2 more UFC fights under contract. The Irishman's only boxing match, a 2017 fight against Floyd Mayweather, still stands as the highest-selling pay-per-view event ever, which could pave the way for a lucrative matchup with Paul.
On his Instagram, his story. By the way, he did that? I mean, that's pretty impressive. Nice little background. I guess he has a good team behind it. But there you go. He's reacting to it as well. Reached out to some more parties, and as of now, everyone is quite tight-lipped. But I can tell you that there is validity here. Does it end up happening? Does it come to fruition? This isn't just a thing that is pulled out of nowhere on a Tuesday morning. And the Jake stuff is interesting as well. Could that happen with his deal with PFL? You know, they're both under the ESPN umbrella, if you will, different than the TKO umbrella, but they have the same broadcast partners. Certainly that doesn't mean that the fight is like a fait accompli. Look at Francis and John, but that's an interesting one. And also, like, the world where both guys, this happened with the Nate Diaz fight, are kind of, I don't want to say in the sweepstakes for the same guy.
Naturally, there's no confirmation that this concept will come to fruition, as it remains purely a theory put forth by Schaub. As for the public's interest in a potential rematch between the two Americans, it's difficult to assess, especially given Paul's divisive reputation and the mixed reactions following his recent fight with the much older and retired boxing icon Mike Tyson. It would undoubtedly turn heads, but doubts linger over its feasibility. White and Paul's history hasn't been the smoothest, though nothing can be dismissed until we see what the UFC's CEO has planned.
Only leads me to think that one day they're going to fight, the brothers. I mean, if I'm Jacob, I'd be like, oh, wait a second. Y'all reached out about this, and now you're going in that direction? Who knows? And then his tweet, you know, who knows how Logan feels about it. There's so much there. But ultimately, as we sit here on this Tuesday, December 17th, there is something to this.
So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.
The entire combat sports community was left in shock over the shocking turn of events surrounding the clash. But the question still stands. Is it possible for these two fighters to meet in the ring given that one is bound by a UFC contract and the other by WWE?